Welcome to the Photography News Show, where I bring you the best and latest news in the photography industry. Coming up today, we have the DJI Mavic 3, a new 50mm lens from Samyang, and much more. So, let's begin! Hey fellow photographers, it's Alessandro Carpentiero, travel photographer and gear expert from Italy, and I want to welcome you to episode number 26 of the Photography News Show, my weekly series all about photography gear. And if you're into that, please consider subscribing to always stay on top of the industry. So, let's see what's new. Drone news. DJI has unveiled the Mavic 3, its latest prosumer drone that blends the capabilities of the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom while improving in every aspect. The Mavic 3 comes in fact with two cameras. The main one is developed in collaboration with Hasselblad, and it's a 20-megapixel 4/3 CMOS sensor capable of shooting 5.1K videos at 50 fps and 4K up to 120 fps. The 4/3 sensor is a dramatic improvement from the 1-inch sensor of the Mavic 2 Pro. It's something unseen on drones of this size, and it gives this product a dynamic range of 12.8 stops. The lens mounted on the primary sensor is a 24mm with an adjustable aperture from f2.8 to f11. And in case 24mm is not wide enough, DJI also developed an accessory wide-angle lens converter, with which you'll get an equivalent focal length of 15.5mm with a field of view of 108 degrees. The other camera comes with a 12-megapixel half-inch sensor and a hybrid zoom up to 28x, with an equivalent maximum focal length of 162mm and an aperture of f4.4. The quality is surely lower than the main sensor, but with this secondary camera, you will be able to capture long-distance subjects and get new perspectives. One of the crucial aspects of a drone is its flight time, which is determined both by the drag coefficient and the battery. DJI completely redesigned the Mavic 3, improving the wind resistance by 35% compared to the Mavic 2, which, together with the improved motors and more space for the battery, translates to 30 km of flight distance per charge and a maximum flight time of a whopping 46 minutes, a 50% improvement. Having such a long flight time is awesome, but this also means that you have more chances of crashing into something. Just a few years ago, drones didn't have any kind of sensors to detect obstacles, and that's why we can find a ton of YouTube videos of drone crashes. Technology has constantly improved since then, and the great news is that the Mavic 3 brings omnidirectional obstacle sensing, meaning that it can sense obstacles from any direction, even when moving sideways and backward. This directly improves the active track, which will be able to track your subjects in challenging scenarios without having to worry about anything, and when your drone will need to return home, it won't risk crashing either. Besides the Mavic 3, DJI also introduced the Mavic 3 Cine. It basically is the same exact product, with a major difference. The Mavic 3 Cine is in fact capable of shooting 5.1K video in Apple ProRes 422 up to 3772 megabit per second. A normal SD card wouldn't be enough to capture such a high bitrate video, and that's why the Cine variant comes with an integrated 1TB SSD, while the standard Mavic 3 only has 8GB of integrated storage. This drone surely is a great step up for the industry, and as expected, that translates into a step up for prices as well. The Mavic 3 starts at $2,200, the Fly More combo comes at $3,000, and the Cine Premium combo at a whopping $5,000. It surely doesn't come cheap, but on paper, this is the best portable drone yet, and you can pre-order it from the link in the description. Lens news. Chinese manufacturer Samyang, known as Rockinon in the States, has just launched the AF 50mm f1.4 FE II. It's in fact the second generation of its original 50mm for Sony, and it brings interesting improvements. First of all, it weighs only 420 grams and is just 3.5 inches long, making it the smallest and lightest lens of its category for Sony E. It has a focus hold button and a custom switch that changes what the focus ring does. In mode 1, it changes the focus, while in mode 2, the aperture, something that might come in handy in some scenarios. It features weather sealing across several points, and you can grab it for $750. Camera news. As you might have seen from the previous show, Nikon has recently unveiled the Z9, and apparently it was a big success. Some rumors are reporting that there have been 400,000 pre-orders, which honestly seems a little bit too optimistic. In the meantime, Nikon stated that the initial production volume is planned to be around 35,000 units per month. So it might be some time before you can put your hands on this camera. App news. Talking of Nikon, during the Z9 launch event, the Japanese brand also announced 2 new apps. The first is called NX MobileAir. It will be released at the end of November, and it will let photographers send pictures directly via FTP using 4G or 5G connectivity. The cool thing is that you can write several metadata directly in the app, including using a voice note, and this will be very useful for sports and events photographers. The app is free up to a single album below 1000 images, while if you want unlimited FTP transfers, you'll have to pay $4.99 per month. While the other app is called NX Tether, and it's the latest tethering software that supports also wireless connection. This leads me to the question of the week. Do you often use your camera tethered? I personally always do when I shoot videos such as this one, but honestly, Sony's software is pretty buggy and unreliable, so I really hope Nikon has done a better job. Storage news. What if you could have up to 500 terabytes of storage in a single disk? That's not science fiction, but it's actually a new high-speed laser writing method developed by the University of Southampton in the UK that can store so much data onto a single sheet of glass. It will surely take some time before this technology makes it to the consumer market, but the future looks very exciting. And hopefully, we'll soon not have to worry anymore about having enough storage for our pictures and videos. If you're interested in learning more about this, I'll leave a link to the research paper in the description. Pictures of the week. In this segment, I feature the most interesting pictures I've seen on the web. This week, I have for you some photos from Doubilet, a pioneer of underwater photography. He has released a photo book called Two Worlds, Above and Below the Sea, where we can see pictures that blend the terrestrial world with the underwater one. I can only imagine how much work goes behind creating images like these, especially in challenging conditions such as when shooting in Antarctica. And I find it fascinating to think that 80% of the oceans are still unexplored. Weird news. The imaging world can be at times weird. This week, Pepsi has released a new version of its own Polaroid. It uses refurbished components taken from Polaroid instant cameras packaged into a Pepsi-branded exterior. It retails at $160, and it can be an expensive throwback to the good old 90s. That's it for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Photography News Show. Which news did you like the most? Just let me know in the comments below. If you have liked this video, please give it a big thumb up, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with your photography friends. And if you want to improve your photography, mindset, and productivity, feel free to DM me on Instagram or send me an email, and I will be always happy to help. So, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one!